So before this video starts, I just wanted to give a quick disclaimer that I'm going to show you real footage from the day of Layla's birth. So this is going to be a real and raw story, and I hope you enjoy it. Layla, can you say hi? Say hi. You don't want to say hi today?
No.
Okay. Well, hello Kix-mix. Welcome back to our channel. Today, we are going to tell you the story of how this crazy 18-month-old baby got brought into this world. And this is a story that I meant to tell a long time ago. I meant to write like a blog post about it or something, and I just never got around to it. So I figured that this is the perfect place, perfect time to do it now that I'm creating videos, because I actually documented a lot of the story the day of, so I won't have to tell you as much, and I can show you a lot more. So it was a Thursday morning, Thursday, September 22nd of 2016. I woke up at 6 o'clock in the morning because this was about to be my very first live broadcast for the broadcast journalism program at BYU. I had prepared a story the day before, went and recorded it, got my interviews, did everything, and then Thursday morning I had to be to school by 7 a.m. So I woke up really early, started getting prettied up, so I had on a full face of makeup, and while I was sitting there doing my makeup, everything started. So by 7 a.m. I had already had 14 really intense contractions, and they were coming pretty consistently. And then at this point, I started documenting. So let's take a look. So I woke up at about 6 o'clock this morning to go ahead and get ready for school. And as I'm getting ready, I just started having these really intense contractions. Not like painful, but just more intense than the Braxton Hicks I've been having. So I decided that it probably wasn't safe to go to school, and right now I've been having consistent contractions ever since I woke up. It's a little bit past 7 right now, and my contractions are about 3 to 4 minutes apart, but they're only lasting 30 to 40 seconds. They do get pretty uncomfortable when they happen, but we're doing good. I'm pretty sure baby's coming today. Now we're just heading to Walmart to get some last minute stuff like snacks and some other things that we need for the house before the baby comes. So yeah. So we just went to Walmart, and it was the funniest thing because I was just having major contractions the whole time, and every time I would just stop and lean on the cart and laugh, and everyone in the store just probably thought I was so crazy because I looked retarded. But now I'm back. We just finished making our delivery bed, and we are ready for baby whenever she is. While I was at Walmart, the contractions were intense enough that they weren't painful, but I had to stop walking while the contractions happened, and I could laugh through them and talk to Xavier, but I couldn't walk through them at all. Then after we got home from Walmart, the first thing that I did was get my bed all set up the way that it needed to be for the birth. By that time, I could no longer talk through my contractions. I had to be completely silent and in my head. Meanwhile, my mother-in-law was making breakfast, which if you saw the leprechaun video that we made, I was making the labor casserole, and this is the breakfast casserole that she made us while I was in labor with Layla. I remember going to the kitchen and eating the breakfast. It was so good. It was perfect. It gave me the energy that I needed to continue through labor. But I definitely would like sit on the table or sit at the table and just have to stop in the middle of everything. People would be talking to me and I would just stop talking. So those last 2 contractions have been very intense, so I feel like it's time to get out of the stuff that I put on for school and get into some more labor appropriate attire. So obviously this was a home birth, so I was at my house. My mother-in-law lives with us, so it was obviously Xavier, my mother-in-law, Titus, and then as soon as I let my family know that I was in active labor, my mom and all of my sisters came over, pretty much besides my oldest sister because she was in Europe. The contractions just continued to get more intense, and I would have to lean over on the bed and I would ask either Xavier or one of my sisters to use counter pressure and kind of squeeze my hips, and that would help alleviate the discomfort. But this whole time I was really calm, and I remember Xavier saying, "Oh my gosh, this baby is not coming today, you are not in enough pain," and he was comparing it to Titus's birth, because with Titus's birth I was in excruciating pain for such a long time. It was a completely different experience. So Xavier was expecting it to get like how it got with Titus. I spent most of my time laboring in my bedroom. Between 10 and 11, the contractions, they were definitely uncomfortable at this point, and they were lasting 40 to 50 seconds according to the way that I was timing it, and my midwife was supposed to come over once the contractions were lasting a minute long. So at 10 o'clock, I texted my midwife and I let her know that my contractions were definitely getting really uncomfortable, but they were only lasting 40 to 55 seconds, and she told me, "Great, get some rest." By 12 o'clock, she gave me a phone call, and on the phone call, she could hear that my voice was really tense through my contractions because they were pretty frequent. So I had a couple of contractions while I was on the phone with her. And so at that point, since she could tell that I was tense, she told me that you just need to really embrace your contractions and just let them happen. Let your body relax into your contractions as opposed to tensing up and fighting them. And oh my gosh, that was the best advice or the best coaching that I could have received while I was in labor, because from then on, my labor just progressed so quickly and the contractions were so much more bearable, because instead of getting tense and fighting the pain that was coming on, I was able to just relax and let the contractions do what they were supposed to do. Let them, progress the labor. And that's exactly what happened from there. I remember thinking that these contractions were just waves that were coming, and I would just let the wave come over my body and just let my whole body sink into it and relax into it as opposed to tensing up against it. So between the phone call that was around 12 and then 1:40, the contractions started pretty much all lasting over a minute as soon as I started relaxing through them. So at that point, I decided to hop in my bathtub. So I didn't have a birthing pool get set up at my house because I got into the birthing pool with Titus, but it did not help my labor at all. But Titus was posterior, and so the pool just wasn't relaxing for me. So I wasn't really expecting getting in the tub to do anything for me with Layla, but I got in the tub, and I tell you, oh my gosh, I wish I would have gotten sooner because it was the most relaxing thing. Right before I got in the tub, I texted my midwife and let her know I was getting in the tub and that my contractions were lasting more than a minute long. And so that's you know, what triggered her to go ahead and come over to my house. So I was in the tub and I just stayed in there as long as I could because it was so much easier to labor in the tub than out in my bedroom. Like, the water made the contractions so much less intense. And then my midwife showed up, and as soon as she got there, she made me get out of the tub so that she could check where I was as far as dilation goes. So Xavier told my midwife the same thing that he told me. He said, oh, I don't think this baby is coming today. She hasn't been in very much pain. And so she checked me, and I was at a 10. I was at a 10 when my midwife got here. Can you imagine if she would have got here any later, guys? It was crazy. So at that point, I was laying on the bed, and this baby was coming soon. But then I had to pee really bad. And so I got up and went to the bathroom, and as soon as I peed, my water broke and gushed into the toilet. Now I want you guys to think about that for a second. How perfect. You guys, I'm at home. One second, this little 18-month-old is trying to come tell the story with us. Oh man. Hey. So, like I was saying, my water broke in the freaking toilet. I'm at home, and that was probably going to be the messiest part of doing a home birth, is when my water broke. And it broke in the toilet, so it made absolutely no mess, guys. Like, it was so perfect. And then right after my water broke, I had a super intense contraction while I was on the toilet. And it was fine. Like, I was just able to, like, put my arm on the countertop and just let the contraction happen. Then I got up and walked back to the room, and before I could lay back down, I had another super intense contraction. You know, just standing up and leaning over onto the bed. And then I got onto the bed.
That's baby.
She came out just so quickly and easily, and it was just night and day between my birth with Titus and my birth with Layla. So Layla Marissa Bradley came into this world on Thursday, September 22nd, 2016 at 3:13 p.m. and she weighed 7 pounds, 4 ounces, and was 19 inches long. It was a total of 9 hours of labor, and I just couldn't have asked for a better birth story. Everything was so smooth. I never got to a point where I was in excruciating pain like I was with Titus. I never got to a point where I felt like I couldn't handle it or felt like I couldn't do this. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys liked this video, and if you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe by hitting the button below if you haven't subscribed yet. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next time.